Hi, I'm Charles Westmoreland. I'm the managing editor of the Columbia Tribune, and I'm here today with John Baker. John is executive director of the Community Foundation of Central Missouri. So recently, in some of our Facebook Live videos, we've been on the topic of nonprofits and giving. And today, John is going to tell us a little bit about the Community Foundation and how it might be unique from some nonprofits that you're familiar with. So John, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Charles, my pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I'm glad to be with you and your audience today.
Thank you. Now, the Community Foundation is a relatively recent nonprofit to the Columbia and surrounding areas. You said it's been around about 8 years. Could you tell us?
We had our 7th anniversary in November of this last year. So we were founded in 2010, and we had an opening coming out ceremony, if you please, in November of 2010. So we used that as our anniversary date.
So how has the Community Foundation grown and expanded since then?
Well, coming along pretty well. We started with no dollars and no funds. We now have established over 90 funds, and we've had over $7 million in contributions. We've distributed $2 million in grants locally and in other places, and we're doing quite well. We enjoy our nonprofit philanthropic work. It's meaningful to the community, we feel, and it is to our donors and to the organizations that receive the grants, and we look forward to many more years to come.
Now, how is the Community Foundation different from what people might think when they think nonprofit?
So we are a nonprofit. We are a public charity, a 501c3, using that technical definition of the IRS. So any gift made to us has maximum tax advantage for the donor. Even after tax reform law, we receive maximum tax advantage for gifts. But we are a nonprofit that we are not the end user of a donor's gift. For example, if you give to another nonprofit organization that provides XYZ services, art education for children, feeding seniors, after-school care, something along those lines. Those dollars actually are providing through personnel, through equipment, through space, those kinds of services. We don't do that hands-on kind of work. We provide a platform for donors to be philanthropic. So we like to say that we facilitate philanthropy. We try to make it easy. We try to allow people to become generous donors, so that then, through what we do, through our services, which I'll get to in just a minute, can be then distributed to these other organizations that do that hands-on work that is so very important in community life. So we provide services, but the services that we provide are investment services. We provide community analyses services. We provide, kind of accounting, bookkeeping, fund tracking, motivation, community study information for our donors. That's the type of service that we provide. And we just assess a small administrative fee to all of our funds, and that's our business model.
And you also have a model where somebody can set up an endowment.
Yes, we do.
So for those that might not be familiar with endowments, can you explain kind of what the principle is behind them?
Yes, endowments are wonderful tools for organizations in particular, or for a family or a group. Endowments are where you make generous contributions to principal. That would be amount of money that would be held back and set aside. Then that money is invested, and then the earnings from that money over time is what is spent for the goods and services that the donor would like for it to be spent on. The principal remains. So for example, there's a rule of thumb in our industry that for every 20,000 that goes in, 1,000 can come out annually, and you still keep your 20,000. So you just kind of work from there and do your math. Let's say that you want to give $50,000 a year and still keep your principal. Well, you do the math, that means you would have $1 million fund. Or if you wanted to do $5,000 out every year, you would have a $100,000 fund. And that way you keep your principal, you stop your spending at around 5% every year, and then your principal pretty well stays perpetually.
So it's essentially the gift that keeps giving.
It's a gift that keeps giving, and that's the beauty of what a foundation does. We are not a conduit pipe where money comes in and goes out immediately. There's virtue in that model. Those kind of models are necessary. In fact, we have a product called KOMO Gives that works that way. Money comes in and money goes out. But our main line of service are these longer lasting funds, because as the money is invested and grows over time, the donors end up giving more money away than they started with. Using my example of 5% a while ago, if you do that for 20 years, that would equal 100% of your principal. Just the math. 5% times 20 years is 100%. So you'd be giving away your entire gift by that 20th year, except that your entire gift remains. You still have that $100,000 or $1 million or $50,000 or whatever you started with in that 21st year, because you've been capping your expenses at 5% per year. It's really a wonderful model.
Do you have some examples that you can provide with viewers as to work that has been facilitated through the Community Foundation?
Well, yeah, we have several things that are going on. One that comes to mind right now is the terrific Clary Shy Agricultural Park that is going in on the old fairgrounds property here in Columbia. It's a project of the Columbia Center for Urban Agriculture, the Columbia Farmers Market, and Sustainable Farms and Communities. Their main sponsors are the University of Missouri, Missouri Foundation for Health. But hundreds of thousands of dollars for that project are coming from just general citizens like you and me. And the Community Foundation has a fund which is designated just for that purpose. So every check that comes in, we receive that. We send a tax serviceable letter to the donors for the full amount of their gift. We track all those gifts with very excellent accounting and bookkeeping methods. We put that into a fund called the Friends of the Farm Build This Town Fund. And then as expenses are drawn from that, we pay out to the three organizations that I just mentioned, and they pay for the contractors and other things of that sort. But we're going to have this wonderful agricultural park in Columbia that's going to help meet all kinds of nutritious food needs for really decades and decades to come. That's just one small example.
Now, can we talk a little bit more about KOMO gifts?
Absolutely.
Because it's becoming more and more a common name around Columbia. So how long has KOMO Gives been around? And this also, it's an opportunity for everybody to get involved and give.
Yes, it is. And also not just everybody to give, but most nonprofits, if they want to participate, they can play along if they truly desire. KOMO Give started in 2013. So we've had 5 campaigns. Our first year in 2013, we had 30 organizations that we had to work really, really hard to line up, who were brave souls with us to come into this campaign for the very first time. And we received $62,500 in total gifts that year. Next year, we had 53 organizations. Then we had 72. Then we had 92. Last year, we had 114 organizations. December 2017. Our goal was $600,000. We received $718,000. So we went way past our goal for that campaign, and we were thrilled. Columbia is a very generous community for this kind of giving. It's very simple. It's where an organization wants to participate. They get a donation page on the KOMOGives.com website, and then anyone who wants to give goes to that website in December only, December 1 through 31. It's a 1-month bracketed campaign. And they can make their donations to one or more organizations with a single transaction of their credit card. So we had everything from gifts in the $5 and a few cents that were given, all the way up to one transaction that was $14,000 this year. That donor gave to 32 or 33 different organizations with one swipe of his credit card.
And I'm going to talk to our viewers right now. It's important to note that John is an office of one. So I'm sure you probably have some volunteers and folks that help out here in the area, but back to. But he does this himself with help from partner agencies, some volunteers. But I think it's important to note that this is an operation of one doing this.
It's an operation of one. We're hoping to expand, hiring some part-time staff just in the next month or so. Actually, we're at that point where this one guy simply cannot do it all much longer. So we have grown with dollars, we've grown with funds, KOMO Gives has grown. Everything's coming along as we would expect and as we would want.
Do you have anything new coming up that you'd like to share?
Well, this year, the Community Foundation, we are really wanting to emphasize donor-advised funds. That's one of our products that we offer. A donor-advised fund is an excellent philanthropic model for donors who are thinking about the possibility of opening up a private foundation or a charitable trust. Save yourself the hassle of filing the IRS documents and all the other things that go along with that, the annual 990s you have to file, the excise taxes you have to pay, the minimum distributions you have to do. Open up a donor-advised fund with the Community Foundation instead. You get better tax deductibility because the IRS smiles more on a donor advised fund than a private foundation as far as tax deductibility is concerned. You get professional advice for your investments. You don't have to make those decisions yourself. We do the accounting, the bookkeeping for you. We provide quarterly statements on your behalf. We will send the money wherever you want it to go, to a qualifying tax exempt entity. We will do all that work for you. You just have to be the one who wants to do that kind of thing. So if anyone is thinking about that, it's a terrific model. It simplifies your giving. You get your tax deduction when you put your main gifts into the fund. And then you don't have to worry about searching for receipts anymore or pulling all that together at tax time, because you've already gotten your tax deduction when you opened up the fund and made your gift. You can spend the rest of your year or the rest of your life enjoying the giving part from your fund. And you can name the fund whatever you want to. Let's say that you did that, Charles. You could have the Westmoreland Family Charitable Fund, or you could even name it the Westmoreland Charitable Foundation if you wanted to. We give great flexibility to the naming.
I like the sound of that name.
I can't put the money in it for you. That would be something you would do, but we can make that happen.
You gave me the name, and that can be big bucks in some circles. Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
We just appreciate so much the support we've received from the community, but we are going to be emphasizing the donor advised funds this year. We are working on some even additional efficiencies. We are quite a lean machine and very efficient with what we do, especially with the one person. We are just efficient by definition. Yeah. But we're going to become even more so as this year goes by. So we look forward to what our board will help us do. We have a good board of up to 21 people. We have 18 on it right now, and they're also supportive. So we thank them for what they do.
Thank you. Well, if you'd like to learn more about the Community Foundation of Central Missouri, you can visit their website at www.cfcmfoundation.org. Or you can email at info@cfcmfoundation.org or call 573-817-5027. John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stopping by today.
And that was all correct. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for watching.